Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like your heart was beating a little faster than usual? Or maybe your head felt a bit foggy, like your body was awake, but your mind hadn't quite caught up? I ask because a lot of my patients over 60 have told me the same thing. Most of them brush it off, say it's just part of getting older. But I don't think we should ignore it that easily. Because I've seen time and again how just one wrong sip in the morning, one choice that seems totally harmless, can quietly become the first step toward a stroke. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I've sat with the families of people who didn't get the chance to change anything. I'm a brain doctor. I've spent over 30 years working with folks in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and I've seen it for myself. After a certain age, real health doesn't come from pills or prescriptions. It comes from the little things you do every day, especially in the morning. In this video, I want to walk you through 6 morning habits that can quietly raise your risk of stroke, and more importantly, I'll show you simple changes you can start making as early as tomorrow morning. But first, let me tell you a story. It started on a completely normal morning, nothing unusual at all. But that morning ended up triggering a chain of events no one saw coming. Dangerous morning habit number 1. Not drinking water after waking up. Have you ever woken up feeling a little lightheaded? Like your brain just didn't get the energy it needed to turn on for the day? Or maybe you sat up in bed, then had to lie back down for a moment because your heartbeat felt off, or your body felt tired. I ask because a lot of my older patients have told me the same thing. But most of them just shrugged it off, thinking, well, that's just part of getting older. But I don't see it that way. I want you to picture this. For 7 to 8 hours overnight, your body hasn't had any water. No drinks, no food, just sleep. And during that time, you lose water through your breath, your sweat, and your metabolism. Your blood slowly becomes thicker. Your body quietly dries out. Then the morning comes. You open your eyes, get out of bed, but you don't drink any water. Maybe you didn't think to. Maybe you didn't feel thirsty. But that's where the danger starts. Because not feeling thirsty doesn't mean your body isn't dehydrated. I once treated a patient, Mr. James, 71 years old, a retired engineer, very disciplined, very sharp. He had a set routine: wake up at 6, watch the news, and drink his coffee around 8. No water, no breakfast, nothing else. One morning, while brushing his teeth, he got dizzy. 10 minutes later, he couldn't keep his balance. His wife rushed him to the ER. Turns out he had early signs of a mini stroke, and the biggest contributor? Chronic dehydration every single morning. See, after age 60, our bodies don't signal thirst the way they used to. The brain's "I'm thirsty" button becomes weaker. But our need for water? It's still there. In fact, it's even more important because blood flow slows down and the heart has to work harder. So yes, your body needs water, even if you don't feel it. And that's why many older adults think they're fine, while inside, their circulatory system and nervous system are slowly under strain. So why is water so important in the morning? Let me break it down as simply as I can. Water thins your blood. Thick blood is one of the major causes of blood clots that can lead to stroke. Water delivers oxygen to your brain. Your brain makes up just 2% of your body weight, but uses up 20% of your oxygen. Water flushes out toxins. It gives your liver and kidneys the boost they need after working all night. Most importantly, water relaxes and opens up your blood vessels, reducing the pressure on your heart. But when you don't drink water, your heart has to push harder to move that thicker blood, and your brain, with its tiny, sensitive vessels, is the first to suffer. And remember, strokes don't always start with chest pain or a dramatic collapse. They can begin quietly, with a fuzzy head, a moment of confusion, or just a dizzy morning. That's why I always tell my patients, if there's one thing you're going to change about your morning, let it be this: drink a glass of water. How to do it, right? Drink a glass of room temperature water, about 8 to 10 ounces, as soon as you wake up. No ice, no lemon, no honey, Just clean, plain water and do it every single morning. If you want to spice it up, sure add a pinch of Himalayan pink salt or a few cucumber slices. But don't overthink it. What matters most is that you drink it. One of my patients, Maria, 66 years old, originally from Mexico, now living in California, she used to wake up with a headache almost every morning. She thought it was poor sleep. But after I suggested she drink water first thing in the morning within a week, her headaches were gone. She held my hand at her next appointment and said, "Just one glass of water, doctor," and it changed my whole morning. You can start tomorrow. No pills, no cost. Just remember, drink your water. And if you have elderly parents or someone you care about who's aging, don't just ask if they've eaten breakfast. Ask them this instead. Did you drink your water this morning? Because sometimes life really does begin with the simplest things. Dangerous habit number 2. Sweetened iced coffee. A sweet deception for your heart. I get it, there's something comforting about starting your morning with a cold glass of iced coffee. Especially in the summertime, the sun's just come up, the air is still calm and cool, and you're sitting at your kitchen table, sipping on a familiar drink from your favorite cafe. It feels like such a simple, harmless routine. But sometimes, it's those harmless habits that quietly carry the biggest risks. I remember one of my patients, Linda. She was 64, widowed, living alone in a quiet suburb in Texas. She told me, with a smile, that every morning she'd treat herself to an iced vanilla latte with extra cream, flavored syrup, even a little chocolate drizzle on top. "Just one a day, doc," she said. "I don't eat sweets. I don't drink wine. That coffee is my little joy." And I get that. I'm not here to take away the things that bring you joy. But I had to gently explain something she didn't know. That little joy, that harmless-looking coffee was quietly putting pressure on her heart and blood vessels every single morning. The issue isn't the coffee, it's what comes with it. Coffee by itself, when used right, can actually benefit your brain. But when it's mixed with refined sugar, flavored syrups like vanilla or caramel, artificial creamers, or pre-mixed blends from big-name coffee chains, it stops being coffee. It becomes a chemical cocktail that spikes blood sugar, tightens blood vessels, raises blood pressure, and thickens your blood right when your brain is at its most vulnerable, in the morning. Did you know? Studies have shown that when sugar and caffeine hit your system together, especially on an empty stomach, your blood vessels constrict, your heart works harder, and your blood thickens. In medical terms, thicker blood means slower circulation and a higher chance of clot formation. And it only takes one small clot to travel to your brain and trigger a stroke. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen it happen, more than once, to people who, just the day before, thought they were doing everything right. "I didn't know it was dangerous." That's the sentence I hear most often from the families of stroke patients after the fact. You see, an iced sweet coffee doesn't look threatening. It's not like fast food or cigarettes. It's marketed well, sleek, modern, relaxing. It feels like part of a healthy lifestyle. But if you're over 60, those small indulgences can be silent strikes against a circulatory system that's already working overtime. And here's something even more surprising. Most creamers and flavorings used in store-bought iced coffees contain hidden sodium. You can't taste it, but it's there. And sodium raises your blood pressure. So what should you do? Give up coffee completely? I'm not saying you have to give it up. I'm just saying maybe it's time to rethink how you drink it. If you enjoy cold coffee, here's a healthier way to do it. Make cold brew at home, unsweetened. Add a splash of unsweetened almond or oat milk. If you want a touch of sweetness, try a sprinkle of cinnamon or a bit of natural vanilla. And most importantly, drink it after you've had water and a light breakfast. You can still enjoy your coffee, but not at the cost of your heart and your brain. Have you ever thought that a single cup of coffee might be connected to a stroke? Because it can be. But here's the good news, you can change that. Starting tomorrow morning. All it takes is understanding and a choice. In the next part of this video, I'll talk about a drink that many people believe is healthy, but in reality, it's quietly damaging your blood vessels every single morning. Are you drinking bottled fruit juice in the morning? You'll want to hear what's coming next. Dangerous habit number 3, bottled fruit juice. When vitamins become a double-edged sword. I grew up in a family where we drank orange juice every morning. My mom used to say, "Vitamin C is good for you. Drink your orange juice so you don't get sick." And to be fair, she wasn't wrong. At least, not back then. Back then, orange juice came straight from the fruit. Nothing added. Just fresh juice and pulp from real oranges. But today, that's not what we're drinking anymore. These days, orange juice and most bottled fruit juices have become something else entirely. I once asked one of my older patients, "What do you usually have for breakfast?" And she proudly told me, "I'm very healthy, doctor. I just drink a glass of apple juice and eat a few slices of whole grain toast." That does sound healthy, doesn't it? But then I asked her, "Do you know how much sugar is in that glass of juice?" She paused, thought about it, then shook her head. So I showed her the nutrition label. That one glass of 100% juice? It had nearly 28 grams of sugar. That's about 7 teaspoons in just one serving. Fruit juice sounds healthy, but the truth? Most bottled juices today, even the ones that say 100% juice, are stripped of almost all the fiber. And fiber is the very thing that slows down sugar absorption in your body. So when you drink fruit juice, especially in the morning, on an empty stomach, you're flooding your bloodstream with sugar within minutes. And all of this happens before your heart and blood vessels are fully awake. I'm not exaggerating here. This is what's happening inside your body. Your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas rushes to release insulin. Your blood pressure climbs. Your heart has to work harder to stay in rhythm. Your blood vessels tighten, lose elasticity. Micro damage starts to build inside them. And when you repeat this every morning, year after year, you raise your risk of arterial stiffness, plaque buildup, and eventually stroke. That's why I often say, you're not just drinking juice, you're sending a message to your cardiovascular system. And it's not a good one. So what should you do instead? If you love the taste of fruit, I get it. Who doesn't want something a little sweet to start the day? But instead of bottled juice, I recommend this. Eat whole fruit. When you eat an actual orange or apple, the fiber helps slow down how sugar hits your system, keeping your blood sugar stable. If you prefer drinking something fruity, make a smoothie at home using the whole fruit. Add a little water, a few chia seeds for fiber, and skip the added sugar. Or simply, drink water first, then have a banana or a few slices of apple. This small change gives your brain a steady stream of energy, not a sugar rush. It helps you feel alert longer and protects your heart in the long run. I had another patient, Arthur, 68, from Florida. He loved drinking grape juice in the morning. After I explained everything, he switched to eating 10 or 12 fresh grapes with a glass of water. 2 months later, his blood pressure dropped a bit. That heavy, sluggish feeling he used to get in the mornings? Gone. He smiled and told me, "I had no idea such a small change could make such a big difference." We can't turn back time, but we can change the way we start each day. A glass of bottled juice might seem healthy, convenient, but for someone over 60, it can trigger a chain reaction inside your body, one that nobody wants. And the best part? It's totally avoidable. If you understand what's really happening and make the change. In the next part, I'll talk about a drink that many people assume is healthy just because it has no sugar. But it can be just as harmful to your brain and heart as regular soda. Are you drinking diet soda? Let's talk about it next. Dangerous habit number 4. Diet soda. Sugar. Free, but not risk-free. I remember sitting in a community health talk a few years ago. A woman, probably around 65, raised her hand and asked me, "Doctor, I've stopped drinking regular soda. Now I only have the sugar-free kind. That's safe, right?" I looked at her, smiled gently and said, "I'm glad you're making changes. That's a good step. But diet soda, Well, that's a different story. We often think that if something has no sugar, it must be harmless. But in medicine, the most dangerous things aren't always what we know are bad. It's what we think is good. And diet soda zero sugar drinks is the perfect example of that. Artificial sweeteners, not magic potions for health. Most diet sodas today contain artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, or asulfame K. They sound like science words, and they're synthetic molecules, hundreds of times sweeter than sugar, but with 0 calories. Sounds like the perfect solution, doesn't it? No sugar, no weight gain, no blood sugar spike. But what happens when you drink these every day? The answer lies in your brain and your heart. Even without sugar, when you sip a diet soda, your brain still tastes sweetness. And your body reacts as if you just ate sugar. It releases insulin. But with no real sugar to process, this throws your metabolism off balance. Over time, this mismatch can lead to insulin resistance, increasing your risk of type 2 diabetes, sudden spikes in blood pressure due to stress on your nervous system, higher chances of blood clotting, and eventually stroke. I once treated a man named Philip, 69 years old. He had been drinking Diet Cola every single day for 12 years. He truly believed it was better than regular soda. Until one day, he was hospitalized for irregular heartbeat and unexplained dizziness. We ran every test, no heart disease, no infection. And the only thing he consistently consumed? Diet soda. After we got him off of it, added more water, and adjusted his diet, he slowly began to feel better. At his follow-up visit, he told me, "I thought I was doing the right thing, but turns out I was hurting myself without even realizing it." One thing many people don't realize: diet sodas and many zero-sugar drinks actually dehydrate you. They're slightly acidic, they often contain caffeine, and they don't replenish electrolytes like real hydration sources do. For folks over 60, losing even 1–2% of your body's water is enough to thicken your blood and increase the risk of clot formation. So what if you like that fizzy feeling? That crisp, refreshing pop when you take a sip? Here's what I usually suggest. Try sparkling mineral water with a slice of lemon or a few blueberries. Or chilled water with fresh mint or cucumber. Or even simpler, just plain, clean water. I know it's not sweet. But give it a week, just 1 week. You'll notice your head feels clearer, your heart beats steadier, and most importantly, your blood vessels will thank you. Not everything sugar-free is safe, and not every sweet taste is worth the cost. Once you're over 60, what your body needs isn't a quick buzz of flavor. It's long-term safety for your heart and your brain. In the next part, I'll talk about a type of morning drink that many older folks trust: energy drinks or sports drinks. They're marketed to boost energy and restore electrolytes. But for aging hearts, they can feel like wearing a suit 2 sizes too small. Stay with me because your health is worth every minute of learning. Dangerous habit number 5: energy drinks and sports drinks, when your heart isn't as young as it used to be. I remember one of my longtime patients, Walter, 62, from Arizona. He came in for a routine checkup, holding a familiar can of energy drink in his hand. I asked, "Why are you drinking that?" He chuckled and said, "Doc, I have one every morning. Helps me feel awake, sharp, just like when I used to drive cross-country trucks." I sat down across from him, looked him in the eye, and gently said, "The thing is, your heart today isn't the heart you had at 35. We often think energy drinks or even sports drinks are just a way to boost energy in the morning. And yes, at first, you do feel more alert. That's thanks to the caffeine, the sugar, and those stimulating ingredients like guarana and taurine flooding your system. But for someone over 60, that quick boost can come with a silent cost. So what actually happens when you drink an energy drink? Let's say you put this into your body. 160 milligrams of caffeine, 30 grams of refined sugar, and extras like taurine, guarana, and sodium within just 15 minutes. Your heart rate jumps, your blood vessels tighten, your blood pressure spikes, and your cardiovascular system is thrown into overdrive. If you're younger, your body can usually adjust. But for older adults whose arteries are stiffer, whose hearts have already pumped millions of times, that sudden pressure can damage tiny vessels, trigger irregular rhythms, or even form blood clots. I once had to treat a 67-year-old man who came into the ER with atrial fibrillation after drinking 2 energy drinks back to back because he felt sluggish that morning. No heart disease history, no meds, just 2 cans. 20 minutes later, he was dizzy, shaking, short of breath. Luckily, he made it to the hospital in time. But what about sports drinks? Aren't they safer? Sports drinks like Gatorade or Powerade don't have caffeine, but they're packed with sodium, potassium, sugar, and artificial dyes. These were made for athletes, people who sweat a lot and need to replenish electrolytes after intense exercise. But let me ask you honestly, are you playing 90 minutes of basketball every morning? Do you really need 250 milligrams of sodium to replenish? If you already have high blood pressure, drinking a sports drink when you don't need it is like pouring gas on a fire. I often ask my patients a simple question. Is your morning meant to energize you or shock your heart into waking up? If you're feeling tired in the morning, it's not a sign that you need more stimulants. It's your body asking for hydration, rest, or blood sugar balance. A natural and safer way to start your day. Instead of reaching for a can, try this. A glass of warm water with a few drops of lemon or a pinch of Himalayan pink salt to help balance electrolytes. Or a light cup of green tea if you want a touch of natural caffeine. And of course, get enough sleep, eat a light breakfast, and do a bit of gentle movement. That's the real energy drink your heart needs after 60. Not everything labeled energy or sport is made for your body, especially not after 60. You don't need to force your heart into working harder just to feel awake. You need to treat it like an old friend, one that deserves to be respected, protected, and handled with care. And after all that, there's still one more morning mistake that's even more dangerous than anything I've shared so far. It's not about what you drink, but rather what you forget to drink. A small action that many people skip, but it can triple your risk of stroke. Stay with me for the next part, because it might save your life or the life of someone you love. The most dangerous habit: skipping water in the morning, when silence can still be deadly. We've talked about a lot today. Sweetened coffee, fruit juice, diet soda, energy drinks. But if there's just one thing, just one single takeaway you remember from everything I've said, let it be this. Never start your morning without drinking water. I want you to picture your body after 8 hours of sleep, like a dry, thirsty field that hasn't seen a drop of rain all night. Everything inside you, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, even the tiny cells in your brain is craving hydration. And if you skip that first glass of water, that field stays dry. Your blood thickens, your vessels tighten, and your heart has to pump harder than usual just to push blood through your body. I remember a patient of mine, Frank, 74, living alone in Oregon. He lived a disciplined life. He ate healthy, walked every afternoon, didn't smoke, didn't drink. And yet, one morning, he had a minor stroke. We checked everything, no family history, no major plaque buildup in his arteries. But one thing stood out. He never drank water after waking up. He usually waited until it was time to take his medication around 9 a.m. But here's the truth. Your heart and brain can't wait that long. What does the science say? After a full night's sleep, your body loses about half a liter to a full liter of water just through breathing and sweat. That dehydration makes your blood thicker, increasing the risk of small clot formation. And a tiny clot, if it reaches your brain, could trigger a stroke. A 2019 study found that skipping water in the morning triples the risk of stroke for people over 60. Just one glass of clean water, no ice, no sugar, nothing fancy could be the first shield your brain needs each day. Let me ask you something. Did you drink water this morning? It sounds like a simple question, but it could be the most important question of your entire day. Don't wait until you feel thirsty. After 60, your sense of thirst isn't as sharp as it used to be. Treat water like a non-negotiable part of your daily rhythm, just like brushing your teeth or taking a deep breath. Quick guide: how to do it right. Drink a glass of room temperature water first thing after you wake up. If you can, sit up slowly, take a deep breath, and sip your water mindfully. No lemon, no honey, no extras. Just pure, clean water. This is how you wake up your circulation, lubricate your heart, and keep your brain clear and protected throughout the day. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you this because I care. I've met too many people who wish they could go back just to change those first few minutes of the morning. But you are here right now. You're listening. You're learning how to prevent what others didn't see coming. And that means you still have time to change. Tomorrow morning, before your coffee, before your phone, before you even turn on the television, drink water. One small glass might just save your heart and your brain. If this video helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love. A friend, a parent, someone over 60. Because sometimes, one small change really can make a big difference for life.